So apologies to anyone who was traumatized by having to memorize capitals of all the states or anything like that. Just sometimes what people think it is. That's not what geography is to me. So if we look at the root of the word, it just means writing about the world. So for me, this starts with curiosity. Curiosity about how nature and society are intertwined, about how the past shapes the present and the future, about politics that are behind everyday things that we take for granted. So things like turning on the tap or flipping on the light switch, they're full of culture and politics and history. And so for me, geography is all about understanding those connections and explaining them. So my work focuses on energy and how we've transformed the planet and our societies by harnessing energy. A couple of years ago, I started working with communities in Mexico who were seeing that rivers in their region were being transformed basically into machines by hydroelectric projects, and they were pretty upset about it, rightly so. And while I was doing that research, I noticed that there was kind of a funny thing about the official story behind these projects. The government would say, like, these are going to provide clean energy for local communities. It was going to be local. But when we looked at the actual projects, we saw that the energy was always going somewhere else. And so the more I thought about this, I realized like this tension between small-scale, locally produced energy and its connections to broader scales, to a regional or a national or even a hemispheric grid, which people have been talking about lately. You might have heard Hillary Clinton mention it recently. So this tension between these two scales is a really important part of transitioning away from fossil fuels. So let me explain why that is a little bit. So let's say you want to power a city just on renewable energy. You have to be able to get your power from wherever the sun is shining, wherever the wind is blowing at any given moment, right? So if you're able to draw on a bigger area, you have more options, right? That makes sense. And so we see policies that are being proposed, being debated right now to try to create these new sorts of markets that operate across political boundaries. We see that here happening in the Western United States. There's a proposal. But going back to my example in Mexico, where we saw that this connection between different places meant that energy projects were being imposed on rural communities without really their input and without benefits coming back to them. You know, I wonder if creating these new big-scale markets actually could mean that we'll see more of that. So my research is really about this question of what's the right scale to organize an energy system, and who gets to decide. Being a Carson scholar has helped me, or perhaps even forced me to think outside of the confines, friendly confines of my discipline and all of the articles and concepts that we cite all the time, and to think about how to do something that is of broader relevance. So thank you very much for the opportunity.